It is a culture of backwardness, of retardedness, of barbarism.
You would think that with vastly negative stories about Muslims in papers, most people would be deterred from taking a leap of faith to embrace Islam. A recent YouGov survey seemed to confirm this view, as it concluded that more than half the British public believe Islam to be a negative influence, encouraging extremism, the repression of women, and inequality, leaving one to ask, why would anyone choose such a direction for themselves? And that's a question which is being asked more and more, especially as a new report finds that the number of people living in Britain who convert to Islam has in fact surged to 100,000 from just 60,000 a decade ago. But perhaps even more intriguing is the report by Swansea University for the Faith Matters group finds that it's white women who are leading the growing number of people in the UK embracing Islam. To try to find out why, I visited the offices of ML, which is an Islamically inspired lifestyle magazine. CEO and editor of ML, Sarah Joseph, is herself a convert to Islam. I began by asking her what she thought was behind the growing number of UK converts.
Even though a lot of the information you get around Islam is not positive, Islam's always being talked about, and that leads people to go on a voyage of discovery. And when people actually, of course, get to the faith, what they discover is that it isn't what the media tells us. And so, it isn't a faith of violence that promotes that. It's rather a faith of great beauty and of simplicity. And I think that certainly when I did my postgraduate research into it, and through talking to converts for the magazine, or wherever I engage with them, myself a convert, of course, I engage with them in social circles. It's that the journey to God, the more spiritual journey, to have a life of purpose, actually.
I also asked Sarah what she thought about the report's finding that white women were more likely to convert, and also the reaction of the press to such stories.
I think when you get stories relating to women choosing to become Muslim, there's a sort of shock horror factor. Wow, you chose this? We can sympathise with the poor women born into it, but you actually chose this way of life. What did it for you? And I think there is that natural curiosity because of the stereotypes pertaining to Islam and women. And then, of course, it gives converts the opportunity to turn around and say, well, actually, if you look at the Quranic paradigm, if you look at the early example of Medinan society, what you have is a religion and a way of life that promotes women and promotes women's participation in society.
The Faith Matters report also highlighted the role mosques play in supporting new Muslims. It concluded that converts feel more needs to be done to make them feel a part of the community, a view shared by Sarah Joseph.
I don't think there's a tremendous amount of support networks. I mean, I myself went along to Regent's Park Mosque, and they had one of the very early and only circles specifically for converts, which was a lifeline at the time. And you just didn't really get to meet converts back then. There are more, and I think that's helpful now. But the mosques do really need to offer support services, particularly around Ramadan, particularly around Eid, and recognise that when a brother goes into a mosque and he's white and he constantly questions, are you Muslim? Or when I'm English, or where are you from? I'm English, are you Muslim? And you're stood there praying with a scarf on your head, because the community itself doesn't understand that you can be English, white and a Muslim.
According to estimates in the report for the Faith Matters group, around 5,200 people in the UK adopted Islam in the last year alone. Among some of the more higher profile converts is Lauren Booth, sister-in-law of former Prime Minister Tony Blair, who attracted widespread and largely negative media attention when she announced last year that she had converted. Former MTV host Christiana Baca was another white European female who raised a few eyebrows when she converted. She's since been part of a pro-Islam publicity campaign, which propagates that Islam just needs better PR. It's a view shared by the Faith Matters group, which says Islam has been stigmatized and wrongly associated with extremist ideologies and discriminatory cultural practices. They say converts have an important role to play in supporting community cohesion, and that mosques need to do more to support them and encourage greater understanding amongst non-Muslims too.